This is an important event, and it's great to be here in Victoria, in Australia. It's like being with friends of the industry, and I like that because my job is about going around to every market that Vestas operates in, and I'm seeing a lot of, let's say, unfriendly voices and people. We can call it the ideology of anti-wind being planted in many places, and I'll get back to that because I had actually planned to stand here for 10 minutes and brag about my company. I would have loved to do that. I like to do that. But something happened to me last week that is going to, that at least has changed me dramatically. And I think I want to bring some of that here instead of talking about Vestas. But before I do that, of course, I have to talk a little bit about Vestas. And the first thing, of course, is to thank my 1,000 Australian colleagues who are doing such a great job here. We have 9 gigawatts now in service or under operation in this country. We started the industry 30 years ago, and I'm just really proud of the achievements that we've been able to do together with many of you here in this room. That aside, so what happened last week? I came directly from Ukraine to here, and something remarkable happened there. We were at an energy conference in Lviv, in the western part of Ukraine. Unfortunately, Putin decided to bomb Lviv during the conference days, so I had to spend a day or a night in the security basement and had good time to ponder over some things that I had learned in Ukraine. Watching our Ukrainian friends sitting there in the basement with defiance, resilience, optimism about the future of their country. I could go home the day after, but they had to do that basically every night. So I'm not standing here and saying I had a hard time, because I didn't, compared to our friends in Ukraine. But what was so remarkable about Ukraine is that they see wind energy as a potential source of building their country into a better place. Do you know what they call wind energy in Ukraine? They call it freedom energy. Freedom energy. They see our industry as a lever to get back their freedom, to win the war, which is also an energy war, and to build back greener once the horrible war ends. And they have extreme passion towards that. And they are building wind farms as we speak during wartime. Vestas is building some of them. And not only that, they're actually fixing their grid at remarkable speed. They're getting ready to put 7 gigawatts of wind online within a very short time. They have very, very, very short permitting time. It's a unique people. There is a sense of urgency, and our industry is being looked upon as one of the keys to give Ukraine a free and prosperous future. And what I pondered in the basement that night was that when I started in this industry 20 years ago, we in this room, all of us who has been around for many years, that passion towards our industry, the idea of this unstoppable future of wind and how we were going to dominate the energy systems of tomorrow. You know, some of that passion and some of that resilience we need to find again, because as also been remarked here on stage a couple of times, we are facing some headwinds. There are people out there now that spreads lies and misinformation about wind. There are ideologies that actually base a lot of their efforts on hating on wind. We see what's going on in many places. It's not just the US. There are massive amounts of new parties in Europe that has anti-wind platforms. And somehow we have let this happen in this industry because we're not speaking up to the level of the power we have. In this room, we have power. We have agency. And we need to start coming back to some of that passion we had 20 years ago. We need to fight for this industry. Nothing comes by itself. We can say it's unstoppable because economic rationality will tell you it is. We have the best to offer. But nothing comes by itself, and we have to fight now more than ever to get back to where we were and make sure that everyone understands that we have the best value proposition in this world. This is not, a small thing. This is important. We cannot lose as an industry. It's too important for us all. It's too important for our kids. We know we are doing the right thing. So why are we not yelling and screaming when we face opposition, when we face misinformation, when we see anti-wind ideologies take root? Why are we not like Ukrainians out there fighting for the industry with passion? I think we should. We have allowed the energy security debate to slip out of our hands. We have seen a void where gas and nuclear suddenly starts coming in and taking the energy security argument. And we are being set in a corner as something that's unreliable, blah, blah, blah. All those usual arguments. You heard them before. But the reality is that we are the best solution in an energy security and independence debate. We're always local. We are the ones that make sure that countries don't have to import fossil fuels from hostile actors. In Europe, we learned that lesson pretty brutally. We are the ones that provide clean, efficient, affordable electrons to power industries and promote energy security and independence. We have the best arguments in the world. We don't have to hide. We don't have to be ashamed of ourselves. We can yell. But there's something in this industry where I think we've become a little bit too nice. We're hiding a little bit when we get attacked because we're not used to it. We've always been the good guys. But the fact is, the world is not looking at us at the same pace and with the same eyes. The climate debate has somehow receded. And maybe we attached ourselves too hard to the climate change debate and forgot our core, which is energy security. My company, Vestas, we started the wind turbine business because of energy security. There was an oil crisis, and Denmark had oil embargoes. And so Vestas got propelled because of energy security issues, and the whole industry has an energy security and independence background. And we have to get back and steal the debate back because it belongs to us. And we have to fight to make sure that we don't leave the space for the other technologies out there who they all want that, of course. The thing is, we have in this industry had somewhat of a tradition of not putting money on the table when it comes to advocacy. And when I criticize, it sounds like criticism of this room. Don't take it like that. I can only point to myself. I've been out here talking about it for 20 years. But we have it in the industry, and I think maybe it's because we see ourselves as the good guys. Politicians will always back us up. We'll have the ear of the people. But the reality is we spend too little money and effort on advocacy. We don't pay our wind associations enough, and I'm saying that to the GWEC team here. We need to put more money on the table. We need to go back to our respective organizations and quadruple our advocacy budgets, and we need to pull them together. We need to create centers that can combat misinformation. We need to get more emotional in our defense of this industry. Of course, facts are important, but they need to see an industry that starts taking this seriously and steps up its game. And I'm tired of seeing us tied to a left-wing agenda. I get sometimes pointed at politicians saying you're part of a left-wing plot. When did we become left-wing? There's nothing left-wing about us. What's left-wing about a clean technology that provides affordable local electrons? That is freedom energy. That is not a left-wing agenda, and it shouldn't be a right-wing agenda. It's just the best agenda out there. So let's be proud of what we've achieved so far. Let's remind ourselves nothing comes by itself, and let's go home and find some money for the next phase. Thank you.